This is The Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story.
Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Dollar Car Rental Studio, this is The Ramsey Show. It's where America is hanging out to have a conversation about life. That's right, the whole picture. We're talking money, we're talking your work, we're talking your dreams, we're talking your relationships. And I'm thrilled to be with you along with my colleague. I am Ken Coleman, host of The Ken Coleman Show, a part of the Ramsey Network, and my colleague, Dr. John Deloney, host of the Dr. John Deloney Show. You can tell that we put hours and hours and hours and cents into those names. They're very creative, John.
There is nothing more uncomfortable for me. That's not true. There's several uncomfortable things for me, but one of them
please
is
don't share.
Constantly having to refer to yourself
What? You're right.
in the third person.
Right. Welcome to the Ken Coleman Show. Welcome to the Dr. John Deloney Show. But see, you've got a little extra thing in front of you, the doctor part.
Yeah, that just makes it more
Pretentious?
infinitely so,
No.
and it just makes it
It's
a tongue
legit,
twister.
man. It's legit.
But I know two other Dr. Deloneys, my mom and my wife,
Yeah.
and they're way smarter than me. It just doesn't sound that cool. But I'll take it. But
Yeah.
it'd be cool if the show was called, like, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, that ship
it
has
is what
sailed.
It has sailed.
It has sailed. So we're here to help you. We'll talk about your money. We'll talk about your life. Let me tee this up. Every time John and I are together, we love to take on toxicity in work. Because I'm focusing on that topic from time to time on the Ken Coleman Show because people are unhappy in their work many times, John, just because of their leadership above them or coworkers. And toxicity can take someone right out of feeling it's their dream job, and it can become a nightmare within a matter of weeks when you're in a toxic environment. And then we also take on, relationship stuff around, I feel like I'm supposed to do this. My spouse isn't on board. We take on a lot of that stuff. So, and we're going to, of course, take on your money questions and everything else as well. So we want to help you win, and John and I are here to help you. Here's how we do it. You get to dial in. It's a toll-free number, 888-825-5225, 888-825-5225. Coming up next segment, John, we're going to have some fun. So on the Ken Coleman Show, every once in a while, we do some funny work fails. Because we humans need to laugh at ourselves, and then when we can't laugh at ourselves, the next best thing is to laugh at others.
Absolutely.
And so you wouldn't believe some of the embarrassing and humiliating things that have happened at work. And the good news, when you hear these stories, there's always recovery. So John has not heard these.
Oh, man.
I've got these in my hand here.
I've got some of my own, probably.
I'll bet. So I'm going to share these, and everybody's going to love. We're going to have some fun today. So that's coming up next segment. But first, let's go to Knoxville, Tennessee, where Matt joins us. Matt, you're on the Ramsey Show. How can we help?
Hey, how y'all doing?
Well, we're having too much fun. What's going on with you?
So I'm in the process of having my first kid with my wife.
Congratulations, man.
Well, thank you. What do y'all reckon would be a good amount to save up for having your first one?
$1 million for diapers, at least.
Yeah. And that only covers the first 2 years of their life. And then they get the pull-ups, and then it just never stops, I can tell you.
I did not know that diapers were actually threaded with gold and have diamond bits, evidently, because they're $1 billion.
Yeah. All right, let's talk, Matt, practically. What is the out-of-pocket, if any, for the delivery, labor and delivery? For you?
Yeah, I have no clue. I've talked to different folks. One dude told me, he's like, yeah, we had our first kid. Our bill afterwards was like $10,000. The other one dude's like, well, it was about $2,000 for me.
Yeah, but here's the problem. You're talking to all the wrong dudes. Those two dudes probably aren't correct, and they've probably juiced that number because they just think it's fun to share an urban legend. And then third, they don't have your health care plan. So you need to call your health care provider today. Because absence of details, John,
yes,
what happens to the mind?
It melts. And hey, what we're both going to tell you, Matt, as two dads here, anything from this point forward that you go into this situation when it comes to the money not knowing is a decision to be ignorant about it. Don't do that to your wife. Don't do that to yourself. Don't do that to this future kid.
Yep.
There will be a cash option. You can call your insurance agent or your insurance company and say, what is the cash option for the cost of this baby, assuming there's no fill in the blank. And then they should also be able to tell you your max out of pocket, the max of what it's going to cost, figure all that stuff out, have it on a piece of paper so you know exactly what you're walking into.
So there's your number there, Matt. That's your most important number that you need to get a hold of. So now you know the first part of this question. The second part of how much should we save is I do think it's really wise for you guys to actually go online, or you can go to a grocery store. It's much easier to go online and just look at, I mean, as your wife, she can talk to her mom, other ladies in her life that have had babies, and you pick out, okay, I think I'm going to go with this branded diaper, or I need wipes, I need all the things. Get the list of all the things, and then go online and just do a budget. Just go, okay, per this, and this. And again, you can talk to real ladies who have got kids in diapers, and you can put together a really good idea of what a monthly expense is going to look like for diapers, food, wipes, all that stuff. This is scary for you just because you've not done your homework. So go do your homework, as John said, and then we've got real numbers, which means we can develop a real plan to save that money. And then I think you'll find there's something about new parents, because it's a baby and that's a human being that you've got to like provide for and raise, John. It's like, and it's just really not the nightmare that it seems to be. That would be my take.
No, I told somebody yesterday, it's the hardest, best thing you'll ever experience, right? It's the hardest, best thing in the world.
Oh, man.
And I'll tell Matt, whatever your budget is, it's going to be wrong, so be graceful with yourself too.
That's right. Yeah, our colleague Rachel Cruz says, give yourself 90 days to just kind of figure this thing out.
And then by then, kids are smoking and riding bikes, and the whole thing changes again. So it's just going to rotate. Be graceful with yourself. Do your planning as best you can up front, and then go from there.
You just horrified a bunch of expectant parents right now.
They know.
Yeah. Well, I will say this. I'm a slightly different stage than you. 15, 13, and 12. And let me just tell you something. It gets way more expensive. So let me just go ahead and fire that one out there for all of you. If you're worried about diapers and baby food, let me tell you, Kelly Daniels, she's back there shaking her head.
Insurance and cars.
Oh, I'm about ready to put a kid in a car. And honestly, you're going to have to prescribe something for me. I don't know how I'm going to come into work and do what I'm supposed to do to help others when that kid is out on the highway.
Knowing your child is driving a 2,000-pound missile down I-65.
Yeah, let me just put it out there for the Ramsey Solutions tribe. If I disappear for about 3 months later this year, you know I'm on medical leave for stress and anxiety, because I'm like, dude, that's the next level, and I've not gotten there.
No, I've got one child who is critiquing my driving. Like, Dad, I think you should slow down. And then I've got another one in the back going, faster. So, yeah, I think every kid's going to be different.
Yeah. Yikes. But on one hand, I'm excited, not to get up at 5:30 in the morning to take my kid to football workouts in the off season, which is what I'm into right now. Which I guess I should also tell people, since we're putting qualifiers out there, if I just pass out right now during the show and head down, don't be alarmed. John's got it.
We'll go from there.
I just need to sleep it off. It's been awful early. All right, here's what we got. We're having fun. Here's the phone number to jump in, 888-825-5225. And coming up next, some hilarious work fails. You won't believe what people did in the office and live to tell about it. Don't move. You're listening to The Ramsey Show.
What makes our show unique is that we genuinely care about our listeners. We're intentional about choosing the best advertisers to recommend. Blinds.com is no exception. They offer high-quality window treatments at unbelievable prices, and they make it simple to shop blinds, shades, and interior shutters with easy online ordering, free shipping, and a guaranteed perfect fit. Go to Blinds.com and take advantage of this week's special savings.
Welcome back to the Ramsey Show. I'm Ramsey personality and host of the Ken Coleman Show on the Ramsey Network. Ken Coleman, joined by my fellow Ramsey personality, Dr. John Deloney, host of the Dr. John Deloney Show on the Ramsey Solutions Network.
That was a lot of our names.
Yeah, got it all out there.
I'm John. This is Ken.
Yeah, well, some people are tuning in going, hey, I thought Dave was on today.
Nope, not today.
He's taken up croquet.
He is turning into a croquet champion.
As with anything, Dave likes to go all in. And so, unbeknownst to me, there is croquet lessons.
He is in the yard right now outside
Right now,
here.
hammer in hand, really learning how to do it. We jest, folks. Just kidding. Could you imagine, James? People are like, really? Dave? Croquet? I'm not seeing it. Well, you're right.
Sounds awfully liberal.
I don't know that I don't know that would ever happen. All right, so we're taking your calls. 888-825-5225. 888-825-5225. Now, we're going to take your money questions. That's what the Ramsey Show obviously has always been about. But as we expand on life topics, we're going to take on relationship questions, marriage questions, kid, parenting, the whole 9 yards. And then we can talk about work. Hey, Ken, I want to make more money. I want to get promoted. I want to move up the ladder because I'm working the baby steps, and I need a bigger shovel. I'm your guy. Dare I say I'm the big shovel guy, even though in real life you'd never see me with a real shovel.
I had a shovel at my property yesterday, but in here, you're the big shovel guy.
Thank you. And then John and I like to team up on, hey, I'm struggling at work. I don't know how to handle this difficult boss or coworker. Toxicity. That's where John, as a psychologist and trained counselor, he jumps in as well. So we love those calls together. But what we thought we would do is have a little fun on the Ramsey Show today with funny work fails. So James and Kelly have not even seen these, and John hasn't either, so this is really fun. Here we go. This comes in from Ben. He put this out on Twitter. He said, first day of the job in an educational reference library that was located in an old elementary school hall with floor-to-ceiling windows. I couldn't see my computer screen due to the sun, so I tried to pull the heavy-duty curtains closed. When I did, the entire set of curtains came down, including the guy on the stepladder who had just finished hanging them. Now, first day.
First day, dude.
Unbeknownst to Ben, when he goes to close the curtains, there's a dude over there on a ladder whose whole job is to make sure the facilities are done properly. Like everything's right. And he pulls the curtains down and looks over. It's not only embarrassing, we got our workers' comp situation going on, right?
Somebody's in the hospital? Yes.
Who's the new guy that just brought the entire room of curtains down?
So the moral of the story is, don't touch anything when you go to work on your first day, right?
I think that is.
Just get through the day.
And I'm going to expand that. That's really good.
Don't touch anything.
Even on your second or your 22nd or your 222nd day, when it comes to those kind of things that you're not gifted in, you're not quite sure about, go ahead and ask the facilities guy about it.
And
don't start moving giant curtains.
Look for the guy on the ladder, maybe.
Yeah.
Look for the guy on the ladder.
I think Ben might have been really focused on getting those curtains closed. So there you go. Next one. Rachel wrote this in on Facebook. She said, I was working at a law firm. Oh, boy. You're going to love. I can't wait for your comments on this. Go for it. I was working at a law firm, and I was incredibly bored. The only way I could make the time pass during the day was by talking to myself, pretending that I was a guest on a late-night show. One day, Kelly, you're not even ready for this. My boss came into my office hysterically laughing because he had a security camera directly on me and had seen my entire fake conversation. Lots of layers on this one. I was going to say, dude. First of all, she's initially embarrassed because here she's basically doing a Jimmy Kimmel interview of herself.
Alone.
Okay, so the boss comes in laughing at her. Lots of embarrassment. But then how long before she got creeped out that there was a security camera pointed directly at her and the boss was watching her?
Watching it, dude. Listen, so that becomes number two. Number one, don't touch anything at work. Just don't. Number two, keep all the little voices in your head to yourself.
Number three, don't work for a leader who's got a security camera trained on you. I'm not sure. What do you think about that, James?
James has cameras on us right now.
Yeah.
James has cameras on us, but that's different. That's because YouTube. So
yeah, there are 8 cameras pointing at us all right as we speak.
Yeah, there's James right now. He loves being on camera. Fantastic.
Okay, so the real question here, Ken, is have you ever done a pretend interview for an interview show?
Yes. When I was a kid, because I always kind of wanted to do what I'm doing in broadcasting.
Yeah.
And it took me a while to figure out it was really the thing.
Yeah.
But not at work. Because the real moral of the story here is the reason I share these fails, right? This one is Ken Coleman's show, Ground Zero.
Yeah, don't do that.
Don't take a job and stay in a job where you're so bored you go into imagination land. That's just not helping anybody. You're not even doing your job. All right, here we go. This is my personal favorite, folks. And by the way, this is the one that I would do.
Okay.
If I was going to have a big work fail on this list, this is the one. My allergy medication, this is from Angela who writes it on Instagram. My allergy medication and my Ambien were both in the same size bottle.
No. Both
of them white tablets. On the first week of a new job, first thing in the morning, I reached in my purse at my desk, opened the bottle, and swallowed the pill. About a minute later, I realized I had swallowed the Ambien, not the allergy medicine. I don't remember much. Except waking up, famous last words. I don't remember much except waking up in the company meditation room 4 hours later. The secretary said I came running to her desk and said over and over, I've overdosed and I need to go home. First of all, you took an Ambien. You didn't overdose.
No.
Imagine what that poor secretary was thinking.
And
she didn't call the ambulance.
Is there a meditation space here at Ramsey Solutions? I was going to get there to is, that. So
I knew you were going to lock in on the meditation room. This awesome secretary, you talk about teammate of the year award.
Just directed her quietly.
She took away my car keys and led me to the meditation room.
That's a good woman right there.
Can you imagine?
That's a good human being.
4 hours later, you wake up, company meditation room, first week. On the job.
But that's an extra admins run everything.
They are very important people.
And a great admin will save you from your own embarrassment.
Yes.
And then when you come back, they'll just hand you your keys. And
I mean, seriously, the moral of the story is be really, really kind to the admin people.
Always.
Because they save your bacon.
And just don't take Ambien. How about that?
Yeah. Oh, don't take your Ambien to work.
Yeah.
Shouldn't even have been in the purse.
No.
All right, here we go. Now, that was the one that I think would most likely happen to me. I think this is the one that might most likely happen to you. We'll see what you say.
Okay.
I tried to tell this is from Marla, also on Instagram. I tried to tell a coworker hello one morning when I was walking in, but it came out as howl, as in like a dog howls. So you know what I mean? It's like, how you doing? Hello is what I think she was trying to say, James. And she looks at the guy, they walk at each other, and she goes, howl. This is the best part. He misheard me and thought I had meowed at him, to which he politely meowed back. It was a disaster from the beginning, and she doesn't say anything more. So
listen, Ken.
I want to analyze this one about what you would do in this situation.
Well, so the other day I'm walking in.
See, I knew this could be you.
I was walking in, and there was it was Brad and one other person. They were walking. We have walking trails here at Ramsey Solutions. We both are having walking meetings out here, and I could have gone with, hey, good morning, guys.
Yeah.
And I could have gone with, hey, everybody. And I went with, I made some weird, like woohoo.
What?
And then I stopped. And I was like, guys, that was so weird and uncalled for.
Yeah,
unnecessary that I.
Because it's not like they were 100 yards away.
No.
They're like face to face.
They were 10 yards from me, and suddenly I transported myself to some
rock concert.
Wyoming,
like
cowboy event. I don't know what I was doing. It was so bizarre and frustrating.
If that happens to me, Kelly, I got to tell you, I need to stop and address it right then and there. This gal kept going. Both of these people walk away.
See,
that's
how it should be.
The guy thinks that she meowed at him, so he goes, okay, I'm in. I'll meow back at you. So now they both think
and now we have an
HR
issue. We got couples meowing at each other. You can't have that at the workplace, right?
That's why I got to go, hey, I got to tell you, I just tried to do this. It came out this. You meowed back. I'm not sure what that was, but can we just start all over?
I said, guys, I just made this weird, and I'm sorry. I didn't mean for it to be weird. I was just trying to be.
Here's the good news. Even if you've had a workplace fail, you can recover.
Or you can get fired, go work somewhere else. Either way, you're going to wake up the next day.
We'll help you get a different job. All right. Your calls. Phone lines are filling up. They're coming up next. I'm Ken Coleman. He's Dr. John Deloney, and this is The Ramsey Show. Ramsey Show continues from our Ramsey Solutions studios in Nashville. The phone number to jump in on the phone is 888-825-5225. That's 888-825-5225. I'm Ken Coleman, joined by my colleague, Dr. John Deloney, and we are with you this hour, taking your calls about life, money, work, relationships. You want to move up? You want to have a healthy relationship with your spouse, your kids? We're going to dive in on all of that. But first, Blinds.com's 100% satisfaction guarantee means even if you mismeasure or pick the wrong color, which I would do both, John.
Correct.
They'll remake your blinds for free.
Or if you just start a new job and you pull the string and the whole thing comes down on top of you and you got to get some more.
Yeah, that's it too. You get free samples, free shipping, and with the new promos they run every month, you'll save even more. Use the promo code Ramsey to get the best deal. Rules and restrictions apply. Today's question comes from David in Georgia. I'm 32 years old and I'm on baby step 7. Whoa! Way to go, David. I've been disciplined and intense with money since I was 18 years old. I am feeling very, all caps, discouraged, knowing that I'm fighting this whole thing single-handedly. How can I be intentional about meeting someone to marry? Oh, David wants to get hitched. That's a loaded question that we could literally take a full show to answer.
Yeah, I would love to talk to David here. Sometimes people get so intense about goals and objectives.
Yep.
They then want to use that same energy and model for human connection. And anytime a person becomes a goal or a strategy or an objective, you've devalued that relationship, and that's not somebody who has any business marrying you, and you shouldn't marry them.
Yeah.
Right? So for somebody who is hyper goal-driven, hyper outcome-focused, human relationships are going to be challenging, right? What do you think, Ken?
Well, the question is, how can I be intentional about meeting someone to marry?
Put yourself in situations where you're going to meet people.
So I wrote this book called The Proximity Principle that had nothing to do with marriage, but it applies here as well. And the Proximity Principle came from the show when I just started giving people advice on how to get where they want to go. And it simply says this: in order to do what you want to do, you got to be around people that are doing that in places where it's happening. So if you want to get intentional about meeting people to marry, you start going, what's the type of woman I want to marry? You know, don't turn it into a giant checklist like John's saying. However, you can say, hey, I want to meet this type of woman who maybe has these values. And guess what? Once we have a general idea of what we're looking for in a life mate, then we know where those people are.
See, I want to start doing that. Before that, I want him to, I love the idea of proximity. I want him just to start hanging out with people.
Well, I think he probably is.
You think so?
Yeah, it's hard to read into this question. Here's my point. You want to meet women, then where are
go be around
those
women.
Type of women? Yeah, it's like here's one idea: just be a normal human being and hang out with other people in groups. I think that's what you're saying. And then if you see a woman that is attractive to you, you be a gentleman and you ask them out. And if she says no, don't go back to your cave and suck your thumb. Do it again, and eventually, someone will say yes. And then be a gentleman and keep doing it until finally, John,
ta-da,
the light bulb goes off. Right. Let's not overthink this. How do I be intentional to meet somebody?
Be intentional.
Meet women. Don't be a creeper, and be clear on what you think you want your wife to be like, sound like, act like, whatever. You just gotta
be a person that other people want to be in partnership with. Be a person who's shows up and is safe and is kind and treats people with dignity and is respectful. Be a person that someone wants to connect with.
Yeah. And David, you know what? I'm feeling this. This is a little bonus advice.
What's the bonus?
I'm reading into this, so we got to be fair, folks. We have limited information here. It's not a caller. I think David needs to be careful on date number 1, not to do a full expose on these gals' finances. He's intense.
Yeah, don't talk about your money, man.
Yeah, chill out on the money right now, because you're in baby step 7. You're in good shape. You can do this.
But does it make sense what I'm saying?
If
he meets somebody and asks them out, and the goal of this is not to get to know somebody, to hang out and to have some laughs, to learn about somebody. The goal is to begin running the algorithm of this person marriage material.
Not a good idea.
No,
you're going to scare girls. You scare them half to death.
You're going to melt people.
Yeah.
And your very that you put here in all caps is going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. Your discouragement is going to get more frustrating. Meet people for the sake of meeting people. Be with people for the sake of being people. And from that, you'll develop relationships with folks that will turn into something bigger and better than that.
Yeah, and you know what? Go read some books on some older classic books on what it means to be a gentleman. If I was going to give advice to any young dude these days, I'd go, you know what? I don't care what the world's telling you. I don't care what culture has become. I'm telling you, be a gentleman.
What does that mean?
To me?
Yeah.
Well, when it relates to relating to women, it's first and foremost, you may be attracted to them, but you still must respect them, treat them, open their car door, listen to them, value them.
Yeah.
Don't just be attracted to them. They're not an object.
Right.
They are a beautiful part of this world. And so being a gentleman is kind, respectful, thoughtful, not selfish with women in every aspect. I'll just leave it at that. I think it's pretty obvious.
Yeah.
But I think it's obvious. I don't know that a lot of young 20-somethings think about what it means to be a gentleman and how you treat women.
I love it.
A lot of the garbage that's going on in the world, even if you're unhealthy, but if you go, you know what, I got to be a gentleman.
Yeah.
I got to be a gentleman. Like dads, if we were teaching our boys to be gentlemen, a lot of stuff going on between the sexes would not be as gross if we were just
treat each other with dignity, right?
This is the standard.
Yeah.
I'm going to be a gentleman.
Yeah. It starts with young people watching their parents treat each other right.
That's right.
And talk to each other with dignity and treat each other with respect and not throwing temper tantrums.
Yeah.
And adults throw temper tantrums and treating each other with utmost dignity and respect. And kids learn by watching, man.
Yeah. Yeah. But we have long since gotten over the art form of just teaching manners and just how do you just treat people. So I know I'm old school in it right now, but there it is.
I'm old school too, man.
All right, here we go. 888-825-5225. Let's go to Green Bay, Wisconsin, where Bridget is on the line. Bridget, you're on the Ramsey Show.
Hey, Ken and Dr. D. It's nice to speak with you today.
Well, it's our thrill to talk to you. What's up?
Well, I am calling. I am a newly divorced mom of 5 kids, all 10 and under.
Oh my goodness!
Including one with special needs.
Oh,
wow, Bridget, that's a lot.
I've been out of. That's a lot, yes. I've been out of the workforce for about 11 years now, raising my kids. I'm in a stable financial position, praise be God, because my ex-husband is a physician, and so he is able to support me to be able to stay home a little bit longer with the kids. But I know that that's just a short-term solution to a long-term problem. So I'm really looking to be proactive at this point about figuring out what the next step looks for me. Through this very painful divorce process, my confidence has really been shaken. Yeah. I do have sole custody of my kids. He has them 1 weekend a month. And so, with 5, there's before school costs, there's after school costs, there's, my youngest is not even 2 yet. So there's going to be daycare costs. And so I'm really just trying to figure out, how do I figure out what my passion is at this point, or what my sweet spot is. I have some ideas, but practically, how do I get there when I need to make a certain income for it to even make sense for me to go back to work because of the child care costs and or the time restrictions I have being a single parent of so many little people.
Yeah. Okay. So here's what we're going to do, Bridget. We're about a minute away from going to commercial break, but we're going to hold you over. But I want John just to give you a minute pep talk on the confidence fact, because this is really key to get this part. And then I'm going to come back from the break and I'll help you on the other. John, coach her up.
How long ago was this divorce?
We finalized June of 2020. I knew things were going south about 4 months after our youngest was born, and I was asked for a divorce in November of 19. So
this is something that has been brewing and rattling around for several years, right?
Yes and no. I mean, I felt very blindsided.
Yeah, the blindsided, that hurts. Stay tuned. We're going to talk about all this when we come back. This
all right,
is
Bridget, don't move.
The Ramsey Show.
Thanks for joining us here on The Ramsey Show. I'm Ken Coleman, joined by my colleague, Dr. John Deloney. We're Ramsey personalities. We also host our own shows, of course, on the Ramsey Solutions Network. And we are taking you through this hour of The Ramsey Show. 888-825-5225, 888-825-5225. Let's talk life. What do you got? We're here for you. Now, before we went to break, we had just taken Bridget, who is in Green Bay, Wisconsin, and she's a single mom of 5, just recently divorced. Confidence is low, understandably, and now she's looking to re-enter the workforce, been out of work for 11 years, all right? And so, John, you're going to coach her up a little bit on that confidence thing, and then she wants to walk through. She thinks she knows a little bit about what her sweet spot is, but how do we translate that into options and then opportunities? And so we go back to Bridget now. Bridget, I'm going to let John pick it back up here and talk to you about that confidence.
So, Bridget, you have been out for 11 years. You were blindsided by this divorce, and it's been about a year or about half a year since it's been finalized. Is that about right?
That's right.
And so when you are picturing, I know you're a mom of 5, which means you can just pretty much do anything, and you're the mother of a special needs kid, which means you're a bulldog too. You can get it done, and there's a math problem here, right? You can look at the math. Here's what I'm going to have to do. You said all the right things. It's a short-term solution, a long-term problem. You know all that stuff. But when it's the kids are all 5 of those kids are in bed, and everybody, the house gets quiet, and you are starting to think about what tomorrow's going to look like. Talk to me about what you feel.
I mean, really, I think my day-to-day confidence, I'm very confident in myself as a mother, my ability to raise my kids. I think really a lot of the confidence, and you've said this before because I do listen to your show a lot too, is, I do have trouble trusting myself because there was an infidelity that I didn't see coming at all. The person I married was not the person I expected him to be. Why didn't I see all of this stuff? And then, I have, using Ken's materials, I have had a few interviews even, but it always comes down to, we just want somebody with more recent experience, or because I'm from the marketing field, I was working 11 years ago before social media really was a big thing. And so, I think there's also the confidence in the work aspect because of the feedback that I've been getting when I do get interviews.
Right. So you nailed it on the head. The trust here that you've got to regain, you're going to have to regain trust in humanity and all that. The trust you've got to regain is in yourself. And what I want you to do on a daily basis is look at all of the little things you are able to accomplish and do. These are little steps. These are little things that you're going to say, I am literally wrangling 5 human beings. I am able to navigate this messy school situation. Under 10, for crying out loud. I've got 2, and I don't even know how you're doing what you're doing. It's about slowly regaining trust in yourself, and you're going to have to do it intentionally, meaning you can't let a day go by that you don't reflect on the day at the things you were able to accomplish. Yeah. That you don't go through a day that you don't reflect on the people you touched and impacted in positive ways. And over time, you're going to slowly see. And then big time, and I'll pass it off to Ken, you've got to have friends in your life that will speak truth to you. You can't see everything on your own, so you're going to have people that are reporting back to you, experiencing you and feeling you, and able to say, hey, you missed this one, or you didn't see how good of a job you did with this situation.
All right, Bridget, here we go.
And I'm blessed with a great support system, so at least I've got that.
That's huge. Okay, so Bridget, your real question, is it direction, the type of work that you want to do? Because you mentioned the sweet spot. For those people that are new to my content, that's where you use your talent, what you do best, to perform your passion. This is work that you really love. Think of a task, a role, a function, and then finally you use that talent to do passion, to accomplish mission. That's results that matter deeply to you. What are you sure of and what are you not sure of?
Well, when I really sit down and look at it, definitely my passion is for people, helping people. I'm passionate about especially helping mothers. And I love beauty. I love, seeing a final product and seeing, I bought a home and I've been slowly redoing the whole thing myself. And I love the before and afters and those types of things. So those are my passions. As far as what my strengths are, I'm really, really good at building relationships with people. I'm really good at being approachable, easy to talk to. I worked from anything from, I grew up on a farm to $1 million corporation owners in my former role. And so I'm really good at connecting with people from all walks of life. Mm-hmm. I'm a phenomenal writer. I know that most of the jobs that I was interviewed for was for writing type positions, because that's also a strength. And then teaching.
Bridget, is this recent? You were interviewing for writing positions recently?
Yes.
Okay. And what you're hearing is we want someone with a little bit more experience.
Not more experience, just recent experience, because I've done a number of volunteer work in the last 11 years, but because, I've done a touch of freelancing here and there, but you're really looking for somebody who is more current, and especially with the digital stuff, because I've been out for 11 years.
Yeah. All right. Let me have some fun with you on this particular issue, because I heard some different things in there. You gave us some other evidence, and you didn't mention in your talents that you're creative. And you are creative in your writing, but I also think you have a creative eye. Am I right about that? You got a creative eye with decorating or restoring, things of that nature. Is that true or false?
That's true. And I did graphic design as well in my previous. So I'm really good with visuals, colors.
Yeah, you didn't mention that.
Like that.
You didn't mention it specifically, but I heard it. So here's the fun that I'm talking about, okay? I want you to just answer this question. What would you do tomorrow if I just waved the old pencil in my hand and poof, I gave you a job that you knew you could not fail at? You knew you were going to be successful, but you didn't have to just decide on that for the rest of your professional career. What would you try?
I don't know if there's a job title for it, but I think what I would love to do is, I call it being a mentor mom, and just helping moms to be better moms. So I love teaching. I love training, especially adults. And I would love just to help with home management and home organization and, schedules, because obviously juggling 5 kids, I have unique experiences in that. And I've, helped with the MOPS organization and stuff like that.
So let me give you, go ahead, keep going.
Oh, I was going to say, it would just be the whole gamut of, making a house a home, really. Is something I love. And then counseling is also something I've thought about, but going back to school with 5 kids.
No, and here's the deal. That counseling thing is your attempt to give yourself some safe, this is a good job. You just answer the question. That's what you would go for. And so we have to work towards that. Now, here's the challenge. You're financially stable right now, but there's a time period by which I'm going to have to generate money. I want to make sure, and before we let you go, we'll make sure that Kelly gets you a membership to Ramsey Plus. I want to make sure that you're using our budget tools and everything to begin to plan to say, when will I have to make X amount of dollars? And I actually want you to get a day job. I want you to actually just get something that and I'm going to give you a copy of my book, The Proximity Principle, because you just got to reconnect with everybody you know. Here, you've been out of the workforce for 11 years, but you haven't been out of life for 11 years. And we've got to stop applying for things where people don't know Bridget. They're just like, this is Bridget. We interview and we go, she hasn't written in 11 years. We're not going to take her. No, I want you in interviews that you've gotten because friends and family have said, hey, I know somebody over there. They're going to interview you based on our relationship credibility, and they're not going to dismiss you. They're going to hear how talented you are. But I want you to use the proximity principle. I'm going to give you the book. I want you to read it and do it exactly the way I write it. It'll help you step by step to get connected so you get jobs. So let's get yourself a day job that's paying you what you need to make to keep stability going that you addressed at the beginning of our phone call. That's step 1. That's what you do. Now, then I want you to launch on the side, and I know you got 5 kiddos, but I want you to start creating some content. Maybe it's on Instagram. Maybe it's on Facebook. Maybe it's both. Maybe it's volunteering at the local MOPS thing and showing up and giving a free talk, and begin to coach women and give yourself away to women to help them be better moms. I think it's a side hustle that eventually becomes, John, her full-time gig.
That Saturday a month when the kids are with Dad,
you're all in.
You're going to have people over to your house. You're going to do seminars. Yes.
Create content. Show your work. So hang on the line. We're going to get you Ramsey Plus and get you a copy of The Proximity Principle. But Bridget, I want you to hear this. You got this.
You got it.
You can do this. This is The Ramsey Show.
This is James Childs, producer of The Ramsey Show. Did you know The Ramsey Show is one of the most popular podcasts in the world? Subscribe or follow today wherever you listen to podcasts.
This is The Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story.
Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Dollar Car Rental Studio, this is The Ramsey Show. This is where America is hanging out to have a conversation, big conversations, important stuff about your life, your money, your career, your relationships, mental and emotional health. Welcome, one and all. I'm Ken Coleman. I'm host of The Ken Coleman Show, part of the Ramsey Network, and I'm joined by my colleague, Dr. John Deloney, who hosts the Dr. John Deloney on the Ramsey Solutions Network. And we are here together for you this hour, 888-825-5225, 888-825-5225. Doc, you ready to hit the phones?
Do it.
All right, we started off this hour with Seth in Fort Smith, Arkansas. Seth, how can we help?
Hey guys, how are y'all doing today?
Oh, we're having a blast. What's going on?
Okay, I've got a question for you guys. I'm 35 years old, financially fairly stable. My question is how to balance the side jobs, the side gigs, the extracurricular work, if you will, and family. I've got 2 kids. I've got a little boy that will be 4 in July and one that will be 1 in a month.
What's the goal, Seth? What's the goal of this side work?
To be debt free. I'm so sick and tired. My wife and I both, and we're both on the same page. I'm tired of making monthly payments on.
I love it. How close are you to the end?
Emotional decisions.
How close are you?
Dangerously close. The only debt that we have besides the mortgage is we owe about $5,800 on a car.
So you're real close.
I mean,
what's your payoff
right
date?
There.
What's your payoff date on the car if everything stays the same?
If we just make the payments as scheduled, about 13, 14 months, something like that.
No. I thought you were working really hard. I'm saying with your goal, how long before you expect to pay this off? Working all these side jobs.
If everything goes according to plan, 3, 4, 5 months, something like that.
Yep. Okay, hold on a second. Hold on. Keep on playing this out. And then how many more months to have that 3 to 6 month emergency fund funded?
Probably another. Well, with the extra kick, with the car payment being gone, probably 3 or 4 months.
Okay, so here's the deal. I know a lot of men, myself included, who did a lot of extra jobs. We told ourselves it was because of the money, but it really was because we were insecure. We were awkward around our families or our friends, and I was chasing external validation. So when someone asked me to do something, absolutely, I'm in. You need this thing? I can do that. I can help with that. And it was constant movement. And as you're feeling right now, my family's the one that suffered for it. The other side of that is families often sell themselves short. You guys can do anything for 1, 2, 3, 4 years when you are grinding out, sprinting gazelle intense towards a goal. And that's where you're at, and It's uncomfortable, and you're watching these precious moments of your kids slip through your fingers. Some of that is paying the piper for, as you said, living a life that you couldn't afford, and you got to get caught up. The other side of that is, brother, you are real close.
How would you define out of balance? That's the crux of your question. How do I have balance? And I want to know where you feel the stress or the pain of being out of balance. Describe that briefly.
The fact that, and my wife feels like, in a sense, that she's a single parent, because I work a lot. I'm out of town, some, not a whole lot, but some. But, I'm gone from the house before 8 every morning, and lots of times it's 8:30, 9:30, 10 o'clock at night before I roll back up. And, you know, I saw my kids for 15 minutes in the morning, and that's the extent of my interaction with my children.
Got it.
Yeah.
All right. So, this is what I think you should do. I think you've got to sit down by yourself and go, can I keep this up? And do I think my wife can handle this for, I think you said 3 or 4 more months just to pay off the car. That's a short-term sacrifice that I think is going to pay off big time. But I think if you're willing to do it, if your heart can handle it and you think your wife can, I would determine that, John, first. Then I'd sit down with the wife and go, hey, I'm hearing you, and you know why I'm doing this, but I'm just going to remind you I'm doing this for us. Are you okay if we just bite the stick and we bear down for 3-4 more months, and at that point I'll knock one of the jobs off, or you guys sit down and talk about it, and then you can slow down a little bit if you feel like your hearts can't keep this up, and then it just takes a little bit longer to get that emergency fund going. The other side of that is, reassess, some other ways that you might be able to juice that emergency fund by selling even more stuff. You guys know your budget, you know your situation, but I think I would stay on the gazelle intensity the way you're working right now until you get the car paid off. Take a deep breath, maybe even find a better job. Could you do one job that pays what you're doing in 2 extra jobs? Start to just really get innovative and creative, because I think we can always do that. When there's a will, there's a way, is an old phrase, and I think that's really true.
And Seth, there is something magic about sitting down with a calendar and your wife and saying, with a big red pen, saying, this is when this ends. And you have to commit and be a person of integrity and keep your word and say, the day that we cross this threshold, I'm quitting this job. And you get your husband back. And not only do you get your husband back physically, your presence there, but I'm going to be invested because I'm not going to be running scared anymore. I'm going to be able to slow down. And I love what Ken said. That's when you start able to thinking about, man, what's another career look like where we can make some more money? What do we want to do? Who do we want to be now that we're done sprinting to get away from this lion?
Yeah.
But I love Ken's advice, man. Sit down with your wife with a calendar and say, this is the end of this. You just told us 3, 4, 5 months. That's a big gap, brother. And then another 3, 4, 5 months to get your emergency fund. If you can tell me from right now, 6 months from today, you are debt-free and you got an emergency fund, and you can sit down with your wife and circle that big on the calendar and say, after this is when we're going on a trip, we're going camp, we're doing something. Man, that everybody can get through that together, but you just got to be super clear.
Seth, real quick, are you working 7 days a week, 5 days a week, 6? What does it look like?
It kind of depends. So I'm a welder, and I have a, quote, day job that is basically a Monday through Friday gig, some weekends, but not. And then I also have my own equipment, and I do some freelance stuff, somebody needs something welded, they call me and I will fix it, or whatever.
So roughly, you got at least a Saturday, a couple times a month where you're not working, or are you working every Saturday?
No, I make it a point at this time.
Good.
To have some time to where it's
good
us. It's just our core family, and get off Facebook and. So
here's what I want you to hear from me, Seth. Everything John and I said still holds, but you know what you need to do? Maybe you need to do laundry all day on a Saturday.
That's exactly right.
And actually let her not parent at all.
And yes,
that goes a long way.
Yes, you're tired, but do laundry anyway.
You can handle it.
It's 6 more months. You got this.
Yeah. Give her some relief, not just be home. All right, good stuff. Thanks for the call. Good stuff. All right, don't move. More of your calls about your life, your money, your career, your relationships. You're listening to The Ramsey Show.
Healthcare has gotten to be ridiculous. It puts people, on the brink. And so it would have put us on the brink had we not had CHM. CHM saved our life, saved our financial lives.
Christian Healthcare Ministries, or CHM, is not health insurance, but it is a budget-friendly option and the original health cost-sharing ministry for Christians. Get started today and check us out at chministries.org/budget.
Show continues from our Ramsey Solutions studios in Nashville. Thrilled to have you with us. 888-825-5225 is the toll-free number. It is your show, America. 888-825-5225. I'm Ken Coleman, joined by my colleague, Dr. John Deloney. And we're going to go to Phoenix, Arizona next, where Cameron is on the line. Cameron, how can we help?
Hey, Ken, how's it going? I'm stoked that you guys are filling in for the show today. I've wanted to tell you for a long time, you are the man. I appreciate you and all the work that you do.
Well, that's very nice. It's very nice. I will send you a check after the show today.
that sounds good. Yeah.
How can we help?
And John, I also wanted to really quickly. I wanted to tell you, my wife and I bought your book a couple months back. You helped us through a really hard time, so I appreciate the work that you guys do.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate you, man.
Very kind. So what's up?
No problem. So I've got a question. So I right now I've got a full-time job, and I've got I'm trying to live the dream as turning my side gig into my full-time job.
Great.
And I'm looking to expand a little bit, but the more that I grow, I'm just realizing more and more that I am just one person, and I can work as much as I can work, especially having a full-time job and a wife and a child at home. And so I'm looking into kind of expanding. I don't necessarily know the difference between 1099 and having an employee. Surface level, I know that 1099 seems a little bit better for me, but I wanted to get your guys' opinion on the difference.
What's the work you do, and what would the work be for a person that you would hire?
So I do wedding films. So people hire me to film their wedding, and then I give them a video to basically as a memory. So the work that I would hire out would be if I'm booked a certain day or if I'm working a certain day, I would basically contract out that wedding to somebody else, and then I would take over any editing portion, but I didn't know if that was the best way to go about it.
Yeah, I think it absolutely is. I think as for a small business like yours, where you are the business, even as you begin to hire maybe some other camera folks, you're still the guy. You're the business because you're the relationships, and they're kind of getting you from word of mouth is probably most likely how you get your business. So at this stage of the company, I like the 1099. It's just a contract. You pay them, and you issue them a 1099. Your bookkeeper does that, and it's a lot cleaner, a lot easier, as opposed to you making them a full-time employee. There's a lot more work there and expense for you as well. You're just not there yet. This is such a labor-driven business. I love you staying 1099 as long as you can would be my advice.
And usually the rule of thumb on the 1099 is if they're bringing their own tools and they're bringing their own camera, their own stuff, and they're handing you over that raw product, then you can feel good about that kind. It's when they're coming to pick them up, your equipment, your stuff, they're showing up with you, and they, walks like a duck and talks like a duck. If they're an employee of yours and they're going to work every day and y'all have a big business going, then the right thing to do is to make them an employee.
Yep. Okay, awesome. And then I do have a follow-up question if you'll allow it.
Yeah.
I guess I'm just wondering, my wife she grew up in a household where you go to a job and it's secure, and that brings some sort of peace to her. So the idea of me jumping from my full-time job into this side gig that seems to be a forever side gig in her mind, I guess once the income, the goal for us is to match my side gig income to my full-time income and then just kind of take a smooth step. But I'm just wondering, is the step going to be scary, like no matter what, or should it feel completely natural? I guess
it should
it's
feel
a little hard for us. It's scary.
Yeah, I get it. First of all, to be scared of it is to kind of go, oh my gosh, moving from where someone else is paying me to I got to pay myself. That's scary in and of itself. But this is a math problem. And once we solve the math problem, then the emotions can come along with it. So I don't think it should be scary, but here's what would need to be true in my opinion, because I'm thinking of Stacy in the same situation, and what would I need to do to make Stacy not feel scared and myself not be scared? So it's two things. One, I've got to be generating the income in the side hustle to be able to pay myself what I'm making, and I would have no debt. Right? And then I'd go a step further, just walk the baby steps out. Okay, so baby step 2 is paying off the debt. Baby step 3, of course, is your 3 to 6 months emergency fund. I'd go above and beyond that. I'd have your emergency fund for life. But then before I left the day job, this would be what I would do. Before I left the day job, I would have almost an emergency fund in the business account. And that would be at least 6 months of what you pay yourself already sitting in the account. That would be a minimum for me. And then you sit down with your wife and you go, hey, look, we have no debt. We've got our personal emergency fund in place. We're walking this thing out. And then in the business, the wedding photography or videography business, I've got 6 months of my salary already in the bank, and I've got work lined up. And so I think when you get to that point, I'd feel pretty darn good about going for it.
And understand this, Cameron. Dave tells a great story about it. It was his grandma. I'll use her. I think that's who it was. That he was making millions when she would mention to him, hey, when are you going to just get a real job? Right. Because there are people who a real job is a place that you go and you get a paycheck and a W-2. That's just in some people's hearts and minds. You're not going to change that with everybody. But Ken touched on it great. It's about security for your wife. It's about safety. It's about, do you know what you're actually doing? And you're a dreamer and you're a go-getter. But you also got to do the hard math problems because they don't lie.
Yeah. And once she knows that we are going to be okay, then you watch the fear dissipate and she'll get excited. So it's just a little extra work. And here, another thing too, John, it's about patience. Everybody who's got a dream, certainly the entrepreneur, they want to get to it as fast as possible, and I get it. But the way to succeed as an entrepreneur is to wait. And I think my advice for all young entrepreneurs and my advice for you is what Mel Gibson's character, William Wallace, says in Braveheart with those... Hold. The British Army is thundering, hold, and it gets more intense as they get closer. And that's the thing. As you get closer and closer to being able to step full-time, just keep to the plan and then that extra hold. And then when we get there, then okay, boom. Pick up the sticks.
Because 6 months before you're planning to jump, your boss is going to mouth off, and you're going to get mad. That coworker is going to get that promotion. You're going to get super mad. Hang in there. Hold.
Hold. It's one of my favorite scenes in the movie, and it turns out it's great advice for entrepreneurs as well. All right, let's go to Brad in Spokane, Washington. Brad, you're on The Ramsey Show.
Hey, guys. Thanks for taking my call. So I'm kind of in a situation. I have an opportunity to take a job that is about a $20,000 pay cut from where I'm currently at, but it offers more stability staying around town versus the current position where, I would say that it's still stable, but, 15 years from now, I don't know where I will technically be, whether it be same place or on the road traveling for work. But it is $20,000 more a year, roughly. So I'm trying to make a decision on this, and I'm just asking for some help.
Sure. So could you absorb, if you were to take it today, could you absorb financially in your budget, could you absorb the $20,000 pay cut and not be super, super tight?
We could.
What would need to be true what would need to be true?
To be able to
take it and not be super tight.
We'd have to push back our date on being debt free with our house.
Okay, but you have no debt except your home. Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah, and if I took this job, I would have to push that date back. Right now, we're on track to be paid off within the next year sometime. Okay,
that's good. So we're just trying to assess this. Okay, so the next question I have is, if you take this job and it's a $20,000 pay cut, does it offer you a ladder? Hold on, because a lot of people ask this question. We got to do a commercial break. We're going to come back to you, Brad, because there's a lot more here, and John and I will dive into that. Don't move. You're listening to The Ramsey Show. Welcome back to the Ramsey Show. I'm Ken Coleman, joined by my colleague, the shower, Dr. John Deloney. And before we went to break, we had just piped Brad in from Spokane, Washington. And so his question, how do I know? How do I know when to switch? And, you got a situation where he's got a side hustle. And so we're gonna bring him back in. So Brad, are you there?
Yep.
All right. So ask your question for us, and we're going to dive in here. So we kind of gave some context. We kind of set you up. So hit us with your question.
How do I decide if I'm making the right decision to move to a different company based on the factors with, less pay but more stability versus more pay and
that's right.
Stability?
All right. So so where we are is you said to me that you could, but I'm repeating this because I think I was unclear in how I asked you. I said, could you take the $20,000 hit and not be super, super tight? Meaning, if you're really, really tight, I don't like the idea of taking this particular job. I'd rather you look for something else. And you said we can do it and not be super, super tight. Is that true?
Yeah.
Okay. So now my next question is, does this job, even though it's a $20,000 pay cut, does it provide a ladder for you? Is it something that maybe in 6 months or a year, you're actually making that money back and you see long term that I could keep climbing?
It does. It would take, possibly 6 years, and then I would have to go back to school as well.
That's too long.
To get them.
That's too long. I think you're a guy who's in really, really good financial shape, and you know what you're doing. And I think that to take a $20,000 hit to then see 6 years before you can recoup that, I think you need to be more patient and look for a better opportunity to switch.
Why do you want out of your current job, man?
It was an opportunity that came up that I was just kind of recommended to throw my resume in.
Mm-hmm.
I really didn't look for a job. I'm really happy with where I'm at.
So does it feel good that somebody called you out and recognized you?
Yeah.
Sure it does.
Yeah, it definitely did.
Well, here's the deal, Brad. I'm not hearing anything. And again, tell us if we're missing something. But you really enjoy your job. You're not unhappy. So to take a $20,000 hit, I see no logical reason why you would do that. Am I missing something?
No, my wife and I have been talking about it, and she pretty much has said the same thing. But I'm an avid Dave Ramsey listener, and I figured I would give you guys a call. I'm 99% sure I'm not going to take it, but that 1% of me is just, I don't know if I'm making the right decision.
You are making the right decision.
Here's the thing, man. When you're dating somebody, and that 2 years, 3 years, 4 years goes by, and you walk into that restaurant, and that person across the room just gives you the eyebrow, it feels good. It does. That doesn't mean you throw away everything you've got. That doesn't mean you go running towards that. It's going to be 20,000. It's going to be less than, right? It feels good to be wanted. It feels good. Hey, put your hat in the ring. It feels good. But man, it sounds like what you've got is golden, and you're a year away from paying your house off. You're right there. Go with your gut on this, man, and more importantly, go with what your wife sees and feels in you, right?
Yeah,
she knows.
I would actually, don't tell her that you called us. Tell her that she was right the whole time. Because I think that she's absolutely right. You need to listen to her. There's no reason. I'm all for stepping backwards if it's the only way or the best way to move upwards. Mm-hmm. And in this case, that is not present at all. So be patient. You're good to go. 888-825-5225 is the number to jump in. Let's go to Justin in San Antonio, Texas. Justin, how can we help?
Hi, gentlemen. Well, basically, I'm in graduate school and got married last July. And I was wondering how we could follow the baby steps while I'm still in school.
What are you studying, man?
I'm working on my PhD in math.
Well, that's a John Deloney question if I've ever heard one right there, buddy boy. You've been through that.
If you know any of my statistics, Professor, you know this is not a question for me, man. PhD in math, way to go, brother. So, is your wife working?
Yes, we both work full-time in addition to me being a full-time student.
So what is the challenge you are experiencing with just following the baby steps normally?
Well, we're on baby step number 2.
Okay.
and I have $58,000 in federal student loans.
Okay. So
we want to get that paid off.
Excellent. So you're going to follow your baby steps just like you normally would. You're both working full time. Grad school, in many ways, for somebody who's working full time, getting a PhD in math as you go, think of it. This may demean it a bit, but this is a hobby at this point. This is something you're doing on the side. It's a side gig. And so the critical, important thing here is you're not going into any more debt for this degree. Are you guys cash flowing this PhD?
Yes. Yeah, we've been doing that now since we got married.
Excellent. So
paying cash.
If that's taken care of with cash, then all you're going to do is follow the baby steps as though you're following the baby steps, right? So you're going to continue to pay off your debt, smallest to largest. Take your $58,000 in student loans. Hopefully you haven't consolidated them, and they're going to be in these bite-sized chunks, and you're going to line them up, and you're just going to knock them out one after the other. What other debt do you guys have besides that $58,000?
That's it.
Yeah,
we both have. We pay cash for our cars and all that.
Excellent, dude. So you're way ahead of the game. Don't overthink this PhD in mathematics.
Yeah,
simple as can be.
Yeah,
okay?
I'm just curious. What were you leaning towards? Have you been tempted to stop the baby steps and put more? I mean, what you called because you're like, should I keep doing it, or how do I do this? And you're doing it the same way you do it. What's behind that question?
Well, because in our budget we have. Cost of classes, built in so that I'm paying for it throughout the year, putting it in the savings. But, that's taking away from what I really wanted to put towards that $58,000 just, with the gazelle intensity, Well,
what could you pause? Could you pause the PhD?
How far along are you?
Well, I'm actually transitioning from master's to PhD now.
Okay. Are you a professor?
So
do you have to have
4 years?
Do you have to have this doctorate right now? Are you a professor?
I'm not a professor. I'm a high school teacher.
Okay, so what's your end game with this doctorate in math?
I want to teach at a university.
Okay, so this is an existential conversation for you guys. But if you're able to pause for 24 months, teach at a local community college there's several in San Antonio. You can do that with a master's degree, and they're always short math teachers at local community colleges. Get some teaching experience in addition to your high school experience. Get that debt paid off ASAP, and then circle back.
Yeah, I knew there was something behind that. And I'm going to tell you something, Justin. I do not go forward on PhD right now. You know why? The PhD is still going to be there. And you're feeling in your gut, which is all coming from your head and heart being on the same page. And your head and heart's going, we really should kind of put everything we've got, all of our guns pointed at the $58,000. John's absolutely right. And I'm going to tell you even more forcefully, that PhD is going to be there. Your dream is going to be there, and you're actually going to get there faster when you actually can pay off that debt. It's such a game changer. I'd go hard at the 58 and hold on the PhD.
And for what it's worth, I've got gaps in my education too for various reasons.
Yeah, nobody cares.
It's not going to end you. Okay. If you were a professor and got hired with a master's degree, and in order to keep your position, you had 2 more years left to finish that doctorate, then I'd tell you hit the gas on that doctorate and finish it. That's just not your case. Really, go back. It's a hobby. It's an idea. It's a dream. It's something we're going to do later. Man, just let all of the air out of your home, all that tension out of your home by getting your debt paid off now, and then circle back and go. And I like the idea. There's a lot of folks who teach high school that think teaching college is going to be different. It's going to be easier. It's going to be better. I can do research. I love the idea of you adjuncting at a local community college or 1 or 2 or 3 in the San Antonio area.
I love
getting a taste for college teaching. It's often not nearly as easy as people think it is.
Amen and amen. That's great advice right there. And by the way, that's going to move you along professionally as well. Right. There's no shame in teaching on the community college level.
No
I love
way.
That. Great
it's
advice.
Awesome.
Incredible advice. And he's going to get the juice from that. And he's paying off debt
Or
faster.
He's going to save himself 4 years and $100,000 realizing
he might realize.
I don't want to teach at college either.
That's right. I love that good stuff. All right, folks, don't move. We're going to talk about the value of teachers. You're going to hear from one next. This is The Ramsey Show. Welcome back, America. You are listening to The Ramsey Show. I think I just said America. Unintentionally, I think I just pulled a Texas America out for you there, John Deloney.
You Merrick at us.
I did.
You did.
I didn't mean to, folks, but I just said it a little quick, and I just went, whoa, what was that?
We accept your apology.
All
Go
right,
ahead.
Very good. America. Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. I'm Ken Coleman, joined by Texas, born and bred, Dr. John Deloney, and we are thrilled to have you with us. It is a toll-free number to jump in, 888-825-5225. Going into the break, I said we're going to talk about the value of teachers. And John, I know you and I both agree. I mean, you want to talk about the unsung heroes of any society. Certainly you can say that teachers are those. And certainly throughout this past year, we've seen teachers have to make adjustments and pivot like they never have before. And we at Ramsey Solutions, we know that you are incredible men and women. And April is National Financial Literacy Month, and we are celebrating you with our Teacher Appreciation Giveaway. It's sponsored by Mint Mobile, the affordable premium wireless provider. It's because of teachers like you that our Foundations in Personal Finance curriculum has impacted the lives, get this, John, of over 5 million students across the country. And it's been taught in more than 45% of America's high schools. And we couldn't have done this without you amazing teachers. So starting today, you teachers can enter to win some incredible prizes like a $5,000 grand prize or additional prizes like $1,000 in cash. So don't miss out, teachers. Go to DaveRamsey.com/teacher. That's DaveRamsey.com/teacher for your chance to win. And what's fun about this is, John, is we love those teachers. We talk about those teachers, but how about we actually talk to a teacher who is modeling what we were just bragging about? And so Scott, is on the line in Frankfort, Kentucky. Scott, you're on the Ramsey Show.
Hi, hey guys, how are you? I'm super excited to be here today.
Well, we're honored and humbled to talk to you, and I want our audience to hear a little bit more about you. So you're at Franklin County High School in Frankfort, Kentucky, which is a public school, 900 plus kids enrolled there. And how long have you been a teacher, Scott?
I have been at the high school level for over 20 years.
Wow. And how long have you been teaching our Foundations curriculum?
I started teaching the Foundations in 2003. My journey with that actually started in 2002. The curriculum was offered through our church, and my wife decided that we should go. And to be honest with you, I didn't really know a lot about it. We were doing the normal thing like everybody else, that quote-unquote normal with credit cards and car payments. And then we went to the class, and it took about 2 weeks, and I was all in. Obviously, it changed the way we did it. We started working through the baby steps, and then I said, my high school students have got to have this. And I started teaching in the high schools then in 2003, and I've taught it every year, I guess now for 18 years.
18 years. That is unbelievable, isn't it, John?
Yeah. Tell us, as a high school teacher, I was a high school teacher at a public high school in Houston for a few years. We know that we often open our students' eyes to different things that they may have never seen or heard or experienced before. When you start talking about, hey, you shouldn't have a car payment, you shouldn't use credit cards, I mean, you're talking a different language to these students, right? What do they experience when you're talking them through this?
Well, it is very much what you said. I tell them all the time, I say some of this stuff, and you all look like I got something growing outside of my head when I say this. But you tell them you don't have to have a credit card, and you tell them you don't have to have a car payment. And it's just not what they hear. It's not what culture tells them. It's not how most of them live, honestly. So it's you're fighting that a little bit. But once they get into it and they begin to see, hey, this, we do the budget and we talk about, well, what would your life be like without that car payment, without that credit card payment? And they begin to realize, what they can do with that money and what it means to them. It's really eye-opening. And for me personally, one of the neat things that I got to do, because when I first started teaching it, my wife and I were working through the baby steps. We're just starting that process. And I got to share, our struggles and our victories in a real life way with them as they did that with me. And it's just, as I did that, they said, well, you can do this stuff. And, and teachers, I'm just not a complaint. Teachers don't make, a great salary. They all know that. And to show them that you could do that on what teachers make, and there's no reason for them not to be able to do that because a lot of them are going to make more money than I do, which is awesome for them. It's just really awesome, and it's hard to describe. I think it's hard to overstate the impact it's had on my students and their families.
That's so amazing. If you're joining us here on the Ramsey Show, we were talking with Scott, and he is a teacher at Franklin County High School in Frankfort, Kentucky. He's been teaching our Foundations in Personal Finance class for 18 years, been sharing that curriculum in the classroom. And, Scott, I know that teachers get in it for influence. You get in it because you love instruction, and the results you want to see is influence. And you just mentioned that it's just really hard to overstate the impact. Give us a story that sticks out in your mind in your time with these students of a real success story that you just say, wow, that felt good to see that result.
Well, and I'll give you two very briefly. And I think it's important for teachers to understand this can have an immediate impact. I had a student, even with COVID and virtual and all the things that we've had to do this year, I had a student come in. He'd been in the class 2 months and came in and had this big smile on his face and walked up to me and said, "Hey, I bought a car today and I paid cash for it."
Oh.
And so, I probably wouldn't have done that if I hadn't had the class. And I'm like, how awesome is that? Because I have high school students who have car payments when they come into the class now. And he was just so excited because he had done this and learned what it meant to do that. And then I have a student I had in class, probably 15 years ago, and I'll still see her out in the community, and she'll point to me. She always points to me and says, "Still no credit card, still no debt, doing well."
Wow.
And so that's that long-term impact that you get for them. And, again, now I'm old now is what that means, but, I've had students been at it long enough where students have their own kids. And they're beginning to teach their kids this stuff and convey that to them. So you've really, I've gotten in, the curriculum's gotten impact multiple generations at that point.
I love that.
What does it feel like, man, when you, again, you aren't going to see that direct deposit every month and get value from that, right? We all know.
Yeah,
You're not going to hop in a Lexus after the workday and drive home, right? We know these things, but man, it's Friday night, your house is quiet, and you start thinking about the multiple generational legacies that you've impacted because you keep doing it every year. You keep doing it, and these students keep looking at you cross-eyed, and you keep doing it. Tell the audience what that feels like, man, to be a part of generational change in that way.
It's really hard to describe when you have students come back to you years later and say, "Hey, I remember this, or I remember that, or I did this, or I did that." It's hard to describe that feeling. And as my wife and I worked through the baby steps and we did that, I had that on the family end too, and what it's done for us. And we're so appreciative of that and the way it changed our outlook on things. And then when you get to convey that to your students, it's nice to be in the classroom and have that. But man, when they come back and tell you, "Hey, look at what I've done, or look at where I am, and look, I don't have the student loans, and, I don't have the car payment, and I've been able to do this." And, I guess it was last year, I had a student who just, took the class for the first time and really fought me on some things, to be honest with you, because his mom and dad had different things and whatnot, and, the credit cards and whatnot. And then he went out and had, he went out and did a bunch of work over the summer and walked in and bought him a new MacBook and a new iPhone that he had saved for and paid cash for both of them. And, and that's just not something he would have done. And his parents, even contacted me and said, we would have bought it for him, but he wanted to do it on his own.
That's good. I love it. Well, Scott, I got to tell you, on behalf of Dr. John Deloney and our entire Ramsey education team, the entire company, we can't do what we get to do without people like you partnering with us. And you decided 18 years ago to make an investment in this curriculum and invest in the lives of your kids. And you've just shared a few stories of some things they've been able to buy. But I think your true legacy will be the lifestyle they lead.
And the kids that aren't stressed in their lives, and the marriages that stay together, man.
I just think generational impact. So, Scott, we applaud you. We appreciate you. And teachers, don't forget, go to DaveRamsey.com/teacher. You deserve it. Sign up to win some real cash. All right, hey, we got to get out of here. I want to thank our producer, James Childs, our associate producer, Kelly Daniel, my colleague, Dr. John Deloney, and you, America. This is The Ramsey Show.
Have a friend or family member that needs a daily dose of Ramsey advice in their life? Let them know about the Ramsey Call of the Day podcast. It's a quick hit of advice about life and money in under 10 minutes. Check out the Ramsey Call of the Day podcast wherever you listen to podcasts. This is The Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story.
Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Dollar Car Rental Studio, this is The Ramsey Show. It's where America hangs out to have a conversation about your life, your money, your relationships, your work. And I'm Ken Coleman. I'm host of The Ken Coleman Show, which is a part of the Ramsey Solutions Network. And that show focuses on doing work that you love, purpose in your life and your work. And of course, money and relationships is a part of that. 888-825-5225 is the phone number. 888-825-5225. If you'd like to join the conversation, jump in. Let's go to Jim, who is on the line in Fort Smith, Arkansas. Jim, how can I help?
Oh, not too. I'm doing good. How are y'all? I have a business that I have started up. I've had it for a couple of years now, but it's really growing. It's actually growing a lot quicker than I expected to. I also work a full-time job, so it's really side. And I'm curious how much I should keep putting into the business. Where should I stop at?
Okay, great. Give me a little bit more of a financial snapshot, and let's first talk about what type of business it is. What type of business is this side hustle?
It's a lawn care service. So, I've had a couple of years. I'm getting up close to 30 clients.
Nice.
So, I'm getting called every day. So I'm staying pretty busy. We've been on the baby steps since a little over a year now. And we're in 4, 5, 6.
Good.
So, we're there.
That's great.
I work a full-time job. My wife works. So.
Wow. How many hours a week are you working in the lawn care business in addition to your day job, shall we call it?
10 to 12 hours a week is where I'm at. I'm getting to the point I'm probably closer to like 16 to 20.
Is it just you?
Right now, it is just me. I'm almost to the point where I'm going to have some help.
Yep.
But I'm not sure if I'm ready to go over that to get the help, if I'm still wanting to stay
Got
with
it.
myself.
Well, that's the answer then. We got it. That's how we answer the question that you asked. How much should I invest back into my business? How much are you making? And I'm not saying how much you're paying yourself. How much gross income are you making in the lawn care business?
Well, like I said, this is the first month of a few years I've had it that it's really picked up. I've been pushing hard on this month.
Right.
For the month of April, I should clear about $6,000.
Okay, and then what are you making? What's your take home?
I should bring home $6,000.
That's your bring home from your day job?
Yeah, for my day job. I'm sorry. My day job, I make $52 a year, and my wife makes about $65 a year.
Okay, so the goal is to eventually walk away from your day job where you're making $52,000 a year and do. It's not. Oh.
No, sir. I enjoy my day job.
Oh, great.
I'll keep my day job until I'm ready to retire.
Okay, so then why did you ask me how much you should invest? Do you mean how much you should save in your lawn care business?
No, how much should I invest in it? I mean, I don't ever want to leave my day job, but I could see myself having a full-time crew doing it while I'm at my day job too, and me doing it on my off day.
Okay, so when I heard invest, I thought this was a financial question. You're saying how much time you should put in.
How much time and how much money should I invest and keep growing the business, even though I'm not going to do it full time?
Okay, great. Okay, well, the amount of time you should invest comes down to you and your wife having a conversation and all your different duties.
Yeah.
So you get your day job, right? And so you go, and right now you're putting in, you said about 12 to 15 hours a week. I think that's probably your max, if I understood your emotion around that. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's getting there.
Good. So let's just keep it there.
Myself.
I would just keep it there. That's what you should invest in, leading that business. Now, right now, you're doing all the work. Okay, so that's good income you're bringing home. I would start talking to people right now who run some successful lawn care businesses. I would be having lunch with them just to kind of run some ideas by them on the numbers. But I think you should start to try to replace yourself maybe 3 to 4 hours a week. Let's just kind of baby step our way into that as well. Okay. And just go, okay, I'm going to turn over this particular, you said you had 40 clients, I think you said. So I'd turn over 5.
No, I'm at 30 right now, but I pick up my big money making flower beds. That's where I make the majority of my money.
Well, then what I would do is I would start trying to peel off some of the lawn care work to somebody else who can cut grass. And then what I would do is to start to look to train somebody who loves the landscape architecture, the design, the flower beds, because that's where the big money is. And so you kind of bring somebody along and you train them. I mean, you need to start replacing yourself. That's what you need to be investing in. And again, the more money, the more people you have to do work, the more money you can make. So I think the investment is, the time investment stays where it is. The financial investment would be retaining almost all of your earnings over the next 3 to 6 months because you don't have to live off of it. And I would be thinking about putting some money in the bank, so I'm going to start hiring some hourly people to replace me. And the goal is to stay at 12 to 15 hours for you, but where you're really just running the business and recruiting people and bringing them in. That would be my goal. And I think that you can do that, and it's not risky, but you just slowly replace yourself. And once you do that, now you've got this great business and the day job, because that's the goal.
Got it.
Yeah. Yeah, you got it.
So far, yeah, that's the goal.
That's it. Take your time. And here's the thing. I hear this a lot from entrepreneurs. Let me kind of get ahead of this a little bit, because I think you're going to feel this at some point. I took a call at one of our Entre Leadership events last year. Not a call. Goodness, I'm on the radio right now. I said took a call. I took a question. And the guy said, I can't find good people. I can't find good help, he said to me. And he was a young guy, about 25, 26, and he was running a ranch. And I said to him, I said, describe the kind of person that you are, the work you love, and why you do the work you do. So he began to describe it. And I said, are you telling me there aren't any other young bucks out there in your zip code, in your county, in your area of the state that love working with animals, love being outdoors all day? And he had this big smile on his face because he began to realize, wait a second, I need to go find somebody like me who actually loves this work. And so what you need to do, Jim, is start to go, hey, who are some people that like designing flower beds? Who are the young people out there? It doesn't have to be a young person, middle-aged, or whoever. Let's just get the word out. Let's tell everybody we know about the work that I'm doing, and let's see who raises their hand. And learn how to interview them and say, hey, this is what's involved. Do you love doing this kind of work? And do we have the basic skill set that I can kind of mold and train? And then when you do that, you teach them, you let them do it, you evaluate them, teach them some more, give them more, keep evaluating, and you stay as the face of the business. You're signing up the clients, and you become really the CEO, and you begin to train the process, and you begin to replicate yourself. But don't overthink this. Jim and any other entrepreneur out there, the key is to replicate yourself, replace yourself. And when you do that, that's how you scale. You don't have to go hire a bunch of people at once and take on all kinds of responsibility and payroll. A little bit at a time. He has 30 clients, may jump. Let's peel off 5. Peel off another 5. Get somebody else doing those things. And slowly and steadily, we grow the business. Slow and steady always wins the race. Remember that. There's a temptation to run really, really fast. All right, don't move. My colleague, Dr. John Deloney, joins me for the rest of the hour next. This is The Ramsey Show.
Hey folks, I got a great option to help you pay for your education. The Army National Guard. The Army National Guard believes you are the next greatest generation because you have proven that even in adversity, that you have what it takes to succeed. That's why they offer benefits like tuition assistance, career training, and a paycheck to help you avoid debt. No matter what your goals are, the Army National Guard can help you get there. Visit NationalGuard.com to find out more.
Ramsey Show continues from our Ramsey Solutions studios in Nashville. Thrilled to have you with us. It is a free call if you want to jump in on the conversation about your life, your money, your relationships, your work. Hey, you want to make some more money, move up the ladder? You've got a toxic work situation? Come on, jump in. 888-825-5225. You got a money question? Jump in. Dr. John Deloney, Ken Coleman with you this hour. 888-825-5225. If you've been paying attention to the real estate market this last year, you've noticed the competition out there is high, in part because inventory is at an all-time low. So when inventory is low, it just means there's more buyers buying than sellers selling, and that just cranks the whole thing up. Buyers want to snag the right house. Sellers want to accept the right offer. And so, folks, you can get hurt. This is not amateur hour. Low inventory is here to stay. To win in this market, you need a pro. That's why we find, vet, and endorse top real estate agents across the country, and we call them endorsed local providers to help you buy or sell. Our agents have years of industry success, and they're going to help you win. Here's the good news. You can instantly connect with an endorsed local provider in your area today. Just text the word house to 33789. That's house. Text that word to 33789 to get a Ramsey trusted agent near you. That's house. Text that to 33789. All right, let's go to Amy, who joins us next in Birmingham, Alabama. Amy, how can we help?
Hey, guys. Thank y'all so much for taking my call. My question is partly about financial success. I am trying to figure out kind of how to get on the top side of the hill rather than the bottom, which is where I feel like I'm at. I'm thinking about selling my car because I owe roughly $14,000 on it, and that's about what it's worth, maybe give or take $100. And so I'm fine with selling it to get rid of the payment, but I really don't have savings to be able to put out for like $1,000 car just to get from A to B. And so I kind of feel like I'm in a stuck situation. And on top of that, my husband is the only one who works because I'm in nursing school. And his job that he's at right now, we're honestly just making ends meet. There's nothing left over at the end to put towards the car. There's nothing extra. And he's trying to pick up extra work or work as many hours as he can. But it doesn't seem to be helping, the extra hours he's working. So I kind of feel like I don't really know what to do.
All right, give me a snapshot. Is the car your only debt, or what is your total debt situation?
Total debt, I'd say we're probably somewhere. We're less than 20 for sure. My car, I have like $1,200 on a credit card, and then maybe $600 here and there. Okay. Two places I can think of. So really not much.
Okay, so I don't know how long you've been engaged with the Ramsey Show or our organization, but we teach the debt snowball when you're attacking your debt. So that's the smallest debt, and we attack that. And I know you say there's not much left over, and that's probably true for the rest of that debt, not just the car. Is that correct? You guys are just really tight.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
All right, so let me just give you kind of our philosophy here so you know what you need to do, and then we can address how you can get after it. What you need to do is, you said, first of all, you need to know all your debts. So before you go to sleep tonight, you need to have all of your debt laid out, written down on paper. And so you said you had a couple at like $600. So let's say you had one at $500 and one at $600, and then you mentioned $1,200 a credit card. So you're going to smallest to largest, and you're going to attack the smallest debt. And so let's say there's a minimum payment of $50 on the $500, and you do everything to attack that. Then you roll that minimum payment, and then you attack the next one, and that's the debt snowball, and that's where momentum comes from. So that's the process for how you're going to attack the debt, not with the car first. Now, let's talk about your realities, how to increase your income, because you guys need some discipline, and we're going to get you connected to Ramsey Plus here in just a moment. Okay, I'm going to have Kelly connect you there for a free trial of Ramsey Plus, where you're going to get our budgeting tools. You're going to learn financial peace and go through that. You'll get the Every Dollar budgeting app, and then you get the baby step tracker and the debt tracker, and all that plus more. I'm going to give you that for free, and you're going to follow it. Isn't that true?
Yeah.
Good. All right, now, John, let's talk about increasing income. What I'm curious about is, do you have any hours in the week, realistically, to be able to work while doing nursing school?
Realistically, I probably could squeeze out 4 to 6 hours, and I actually am hired with Shipt, the grocery company, as far as pickup and all. So I could probably squeeze out 4 to 6 hours.
Okay. I'd like you to get something that's not just shipped and rely. I'd like you to kind of lock in on something and go, okay, I know I'm getting this amount of hours and I'm getting this amount of pay, and it's very consistent. That's what I think you need.
Okay.
And then you said your husband's struggling to find extra jobs. I don't want to sound cynical, but I'm having a hard time understanding in Birmingham, Alabama, how he's having a hard time finding just a couple jobs here and there, delivering something, stacking stuff in a warehouse, stacking shelves at night. I'm having a hard time.
Okay. Well, to be totally honest about it, he's really not on board with all this. I've been trying for like 3 or 4 years to get him on board with this, and he, does it for like a day or two and then nothing. And so it's really hard. I feel like there's so many layers here, but I'm kind of encouraging him to stay at work extra hours to get more hours, and that's about all I can get from him right now.
What's the deeper issue here? Is your marriage in trouble?
Yes.
And so what I need you to hear is this plan to get you guys out of debt works. It's worked for millions and millions of people. But if only one of you is on board, it won't work. And if one of you is all in, you're going to end up getting frustrated, and frustration is going to lead to anger, and that anger is going to lead to resentment, and resentment is the ash of a relationship. It's over. And so you are getting to the end here of every month, and you've got nothing left. And you're a full-time nursing student, which is hard, right?
Yeah.
What about this situation is your husband not experiencing with you? Does he not care? Put on a credit card, we're having fun, life's great?
Yes, he's a free spirit, which is fine. Like, I'm the nerd, and that's fine. But he grew up with a lot of debt, and credit cards and payments were fine and normal. And so
Is this what he knows?
Yes.
Have you sat down across a table and looked him in the eye and said, here's how unsafe and untethered and unsecure I feel? Or have you nibbled around the edges and said, hey, how about a few more hours? Which can really quickly go from encouragement to nagging, from nagging to complaining. And now he's off making sure he's got a different world because he can't handle you, right? Has he heard you?
Both. I've done both. We've done counseling, and I don't want to linger this phone call. I know there's other people, but we actually did go through the program like 2 years ago, got completely debt free, and then it just, there's a lot of dishonesty and lack of trust there, and he's kind of got two lives going on, and so there's a lot happening. But we have a son, and so I really want it to be good for him, future.
And so here's the deal. By just wallpapering over this stuff, there's going to be tension in your home. You've got two lives. Your husband's got two lives. And here's what's going to happen with that little boy. Your little boy's going to absorb this relational tension. He's going to make it his fault, and he's going to spend the rest of his life trying to solve it. And he's going to solve it in a million different ways. And so for you, because you deserve this, for your husband, because he deserves this, and for this little boy, you've got to throw the flag, turn all the lights on the stadium at your home, and say, this marriage is on life support, and we got to act now. And I know we went through FPU once. I know we went to counseling before. We've got to get into some intensive relationship counseling today, this weekend, starting Monday, because this thing's on its last legs, and people are about to start making some decisions that they might not be able to recover from. You're worth this, Amy. Your husband's worth it, and so is that little boy. Okay, this is way bigger than the car now.
And here's the good news, Amy. You've done it once before, which means you can do it again. That's the good news. You know what to do. This is all about, it has to stop today. This marriage has to be saved. Welcome back, America. You are joining the conversation here on The Ramsey Show. I'm Ken Coleman, joined by my colleague, John Deloney, and we are taking your calls, 888-825-5225, 888-825-5225. You want to talk about life and every angle, we are here for you. Let's go back to the phones. Susan is on the line in Atlanta, Georgia. Susan, how can we help?
Hi, guys. Thanks for taking my call. I'm wondering if you might have some advice. My mother is 93, almost 94. She's got Alzheimer's. She's in assisted living, has been for several years. Her body is fine. She is still going strong. My other siblings are all older than me. My 3 older brothers, they've all retired. And I'm trying my best to get retired within the next couple of years. Problem is, Mother's running out of money. And she's probably going to be out of money by the end of the year. My brothers think that we should all pitch in and help her to maintain her dignity and her lifestyle at this assisted living home. They take very good care of her. The problem is, for us to do that, we've each got to pitch in to supplement the Social Security that she has, about $1,500 a month.
Each?
Yes.
Oh.
So the other alternative from what the senior provision caretakers are telling us is she would have to go to a Medicaid bed. And we just can't do that. I mean, we love our mother. We want her to be comfortable. We want her to have dignity for the rest of the days of her life. And being that she's got the memory issue, we don't think that we can have her come live with one of us, which it would be me, because the in-home health care, from what we're told, is even more expensive than being in an assisted living place like she's at.
Do you have the money?
I won't be able to retire. I do have the money. I just won't be able to retire. And with Mother being as healthy as she is, she could live to be 100. She could live to be more than 100.
The chances of that happening are very small, but that you're getting way ahead of yourself. So you've presented two issues that are at odds with one another, and then you've got to make a choice. You want to maintain a really expensive, a really nice home for your mom, and you won't be able to retire. And you want to retire. Sounds like you just have a simple yet very difficult choice to make.
Okay. All right. Well,
does that make sense?
That's kind of what we're being told.
How long has she been diagnosed with the Alzheimer's?
Since she was about 89.
And how old is she now?
93. She'll be 94 next month.
And have you and your brothers, have y'all looked at every options, other facilities around? Have you had conversations with a social worker who's can help you navigate some of these things? Because this idea, number one, I don't like the threat of, well, if you don't do that, if you don't pony up the money, we're going to have to send them to that bit. That's a scummy, that's a move. That's a move. And
it's one that none of us want to do. I mean,
but I've had a family member in a Medicaid bed, and she was taken care of incredibly. It was a wonderful experience. And so,
well, that's good to hear.
I don't know. Every place is different, but the fact that they're going to pitch that to you sounds like a move. It sounds gross. And so I would be on the phone with every other home in the area, places that are close, places that are not close, because I understand with all my heart this desire to retain dignity. I get that. I understand the desire to want to retire. But if you've made the commitment, I'm not going to do that to my mom, then you've answered your own retirement question. And you got to let that dream go and then be about honoring your mom in the way that you want to do it. I don't necessarily think it's got to be Social Security plus $1,500 times however many brothers and sisters you got.
I also don't think that it has to be, I'm going to pitch in for my mom, whatever the solution ends up being based on what John said, and I can't retire. That's not. It's a false narrative. You can retire. You just may not be able to retire as quickly as you'd like to.
Or maybe you're going to sell your house and you're going to buy a smaller house, or you're going to get rid of your car payment, or you're going to figure out what it's going to look like. But when you box yourself into it's this or that, then the world gets real bleak real quick. Yeah. And there's almost always other options.
Yeah. I agree. I think you got to do some more digging, and the brothers need to step up as well. I'm feeling, John, I can hear it in her voice. It feels like they're putting a lot of this on her, and it's time for an all-hands-on-deck meeting. 888-825-5225 is the number. Let's go to Los Angeles, California, where Andrew joins us. Andrew, how can we help?
Hi, Tim and John. Thanks for taking my call. You've both been a huge encouragement over the past few years.
Thank you. What's going on?
So I'm really glad to be talking to both of you because this question has both a career and an emotional aspect. So we moved to L.A., a very expensive area, so that my wife can have a close proximity to her dream job of being a writer for children's animation. However, we accidentally moved here at the worst time because the pandemic hit right after, and most of the companies haven't been hiring or producing as much content. Financially, we're still doing really well, just off my income and our savings, but I'm a total tightwad, and it feels like we're burning a pile of money each month for a dream that is yet to take off. So the career question is, how do we balance pursuing a dream job with making smart money decisions? And the emotional part is, how do I hush the part of my brain that keeps complaining that we're wasting money, even though I think she has a real shot of getting that dream job?
Well, I'll just start on the first part and let John weigh in, but I got opinion on both of them, John.
Bring them both, man.
All right, Andrew, here's the deal. It's a false choice you've presented yourself and then asked us a question based on a false choice. You guys are burning through savings, and you shouldn't be. Right now you've got an economy in her world that has slowed way down. And I agree with you. She can get it. And I love that you guys made the move. But guess what? She needs to be working multiple jobs right now, and she's still making connections, and she's still writing at night or really early in the morning. But she needs to be working to support her dream as well. And I'm not saying that she's not working. I'm saying that this is a both and here. We pursue the dream, but we also make smart money decisions. It's not either or. It's not how do we balance going after the dream and make good decisions. No, we make good decisions, and that might slow down the pursuit of the dream. COVID has slowed down the pursuit of the dream right now for you. So stop burning through the savings as quick as possible. I don't think that's something wrong with you because you're going, I don't want to burn through our savings. That doesn't make you emotionally distraught. It makes you smart.
May I weigh in on that just to give you more perspective?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, it's your call.
Yeah, we're netting about $170 per year, and we're living on about $60,000. So we're still putting like $100,000 in savings almost every year.
Okay, then your question is almost
ridiculous. This is more me from a tight. Again, this is less about us burning through savings and more about me looking at other places saying we could be saving upwards of $30,000 in taxes and in rent if we live somewhere else. And it's not a question of burning through savings. It's a question of me getting over the fact that, yeah, we're spending more than we would somewhere else, but is that worth it to pursue the dream?
So did you get in the car and drive across the country with your wife to pursue a dream?
Not exactly, no. We were living in Orange County, California.
Okay.
But at that time, we were weighing whether or not we would move out of California. Then she got a really good job in Los Angeles, so we moved to Los Angeles.
Andrew, listen.
That's when COVID hit.
Andrew, listen to me. This is pretty simple stuff, okay? Here's the deal. You just said that you were burning through savings, and then when I really challenged you on it, you went, oh, actually, I'm just being really tight and unreasonable. Yeah, you are. You guys are crushing it. You're living on way less than you make, and you also told us that you believe your wife is going to make it.
So quit, Andrew.
So relax and stay there. You guys are fine financially.
This isn't magic. Here's how you stop. Stop.
You're obsessing about this, and you need to stop obsessing. Hear me say, you're doing a great job, a really great job financially. You can't do any more.
Have some joy in your life, brother. It's a choice.
Stay the course. Your wife's going to make it unless you drive her crazy in the meantime. This is the Ramsey Show, and we're thrilled that you have joined the conversation. I'm Ken Coleman, joined by my colleague, John Deloney. The phone number to jump in, 888-825-5225. That's 888-825-5225. Our scripture today, Psalm 100, verse 3. Know that the Lord is God. It is He who made us, and we are His. We are His people, the sheep of His pasture. Our quote of the day from Albert Einstein, greatest head of hair in the history of science. He said, in the middle of every difficulty lies opportunity. And I think he's right.
I 100% agree.
It's pretty good. That's for a guy that was brilliant with numbers and all that right there, that's all mindset stuff right there.
That's right.
Learn how to just dig into the difficulty and go, what can I get out of this?
Because you know why? The science is the active act of being less wrong. And so when you have a great scientist, most of their time is spent being wrong.
Dealing with being wrong, yeah.
And then using that as fuel for the next attempt at being less wrong. That's the beauty of it. And so when you hear these quotes from these scientists, it sometimes feels off kilter because he's Einstein. Einstein knows every day was a battle with being wrong and being wrong and being wrong and then getting back up and going again.
Love it. 888-825-5225. Let's go north of the border. Beautiful Montreal, Canada is where Veronica joins us. Veronica, how can we help?
Hello, thanks. Hi, guys. I'm so grateful to talk to you. So I have a quick question. Here it goes. I'm 31 years old. I'm currently single, no children. I've been working in labor relations for 5 years. My current salary is $55,000. However, I'm starting a new job in 3 weeks, and I have a significant salary increase. My new salary would be $92,000.
Whoa! Hey!
So, yes, I know.
Congratulations, Veronica. Don't just fly by that one. Wow.
Yeah, I know. So here's my question. I want to know what to do with that extra money that I'll be having. I have no debt. I currently own 2 condos. So one that I'm renting out right now and another one that I'm currently living in. I have a car that it's 100% paid full, and I'm at baby step number 4 because I am saving 15% of my annual salary or income in my 401k. So the condo that I'm renting right now, I have $99,000 left on my mortgage. And the condo that I'm living in, I have a little bit over $200,000 as a mortgage. So I want to know, I basically want to still live on my same current lifestyle, so I don't want to spend extra money. So where should I invest that extra money that I would get from my income? Should I attack my first mortgage?
Yes.
Yes?
Yep.
Okay.
Absolutely. Just absolutely attack it. And you want to pay that off because you're already investing 15% of your income. You have no other debt except these 2 condos. So this is like taking on you technically have debt. What we say at Ramsey Solutions is you can work on the home, right? And you could be debt free, but you technically have debt. You got 2 condos. One you're living in, the other you're renting. So I would attack the smallest condo. I'd get after that and pay that off. And with that additional income you've got, you can really you can get after that. But you're already investing, and I think technically, I think. I think I would throw everything. I'd probably pause the 15% here because she's not debt free. I mean, the way we define it is you got one you're living in, the other you're renting. So I would pause baby step 4 here.
Okay.
And I would throw that income plus the amount you're investing there plus the additional income at that house, and then sell that thing. And then whatever you make on it, I'd put it into the one, so live in one, you get what I'm saying? Okay. So I can't remember which one is the one you're living in. Is the $99,000 one you're living in, or you're renting that one?
No, I'm renting the $99,000 mortgage one. Yeah, and I'm living in my $200,000 one that I have, yeah.
Okay, so how much is that condo worth, the $99,000?
Currently, the last time I checked was about a little bit under $300,000.
Oh, gosh, I'd sell it. Sorry.
Sell it?
You know what? To be honest with you, I caught myself, and anybody who knows the show's like, Ken, why didn't you tell her this? I was just like, stop. You got so much income and all this. You need to sell the condo right now. Put it up today because it's worth $300. Is that what you said, $300?
It's worth a little bit under $300,000. But what about this idea of building wealth?
You're gonna build. Hold on. I know.
Okay.
I think I'm brain tired. I should have told you this initially, but here's what you do: you sell this thing. Okay, and so after your commission, let's say you got 180, whatever, 190, whatever it's going to be. Okay, so all of that money. So now you've got that debt gone, and then you put that into the current condo that you're living in, which you said you owe $200 on. So you're going to owe very little, very little. Yes. And then you still do what I said. Well, you don't have to now because you're in the baby steps. It's your home. But I would take that additional income. So you don't pause baby step 4. I told you the wrong thing. All right. Okay. You sell the condo, the $99,000 condo. You take the profit from that, dump it all into the $200,000 condo that you're living in. You have very little left. The additional income of the new job, all of that extra goes into paying off that very teeny tiny mortgage. Right. And you look up and you're debt free. And then you're really investing a lot of money and you're really crushing it. You're building wealth so fast you don't even know what to do with yourself. And you can save up a bunch of money and now buy a condo cash. So that's what you do. Sorry, it took me. Yeah, there you go.
It's okay. I haven't seen it that way. My first idea was just to keep both condos. And yes, as you said initially, I thought it would have been best to just attack this $99,000 mortgage and then keep renting it and live, and that would be like an extra income, the rent, the monthly rent once it's paid off. But
it is until, I'm going to throw something crazy at you. What happens if, I don't know, I'm going to make this up off the top of my head. Maybe a global pandemic happens.
Yeah.
And then your renters just don't pay.
Yeah.
I get you.
You still owe the bank that money. And what happens when you try to build generational wealth on one side of a teeter-totter, the leverage on the other side at some point comes due.
Yep.
And when you have no mortgage, no car note, no student loans, no nothing, and you're absolutely crushing it with this new salary you're making, then you look up and 3 years later, you buy this condo back because the market will have corrected itself a bit with cash.
Yeah.
And then it doesn't matter if somebody doesn't show up for a few months because you're not up against mortgage. The other side of a teeter-totter, right?
Veronica, remember this. You're going to have a $300,000 condo that's cash paid for. So you've invested wisely. So you've got that. That's a big egg. And you still got the $91,000 that you're not even living on. So that's why you do this. You do this much quicker. You're going to turn the wealth building on at high speed that way. So that's why you do it.
And it's your wealth. It's not wealth that you're playing with that actually is owned by somebody else.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot, guys. I really appreciate it. Thanks for your advice and take care.
Thank you, Veronica. Love that. What a great position she's in there.
Man.
It's like you don't need that. You know what it is? People go, oh, it's that monthly income. Until you realize it's really not yours.
Right.
Now she's got a $300,000 condo paid in full, and she's still got great income, still in baby step 4, investing the 15%. She's just starting to pile it.
And the beauty of it is, again, for me, you wake up that next day and you don't have a house payment. Think about going on a date with your wife at midnight and tipping the waitress your house note for the next month. Your ability to be able to be generous and to give like crazy.
I love everything about that picture about going out on a date with my wife and be able to do that and doing that, but not at midnight. It's too late.
No, because you know why?
Why midnight? That's very odd.
Because nobody's working the midnight shift because they want to.
Oh. Well,
people get stuck in those cycles, and that's the only shift they've got. Man, I'm going to show up and you can change somebody's month with that.
I try to tell my kids nothing good happens after midnight.
Oh, you can make someone's life really good.
All right, I see where you're going. I, on the other hand, need to be in bed before 10.
I'm with you.
Needing the extra beauty sleep, John.
I'm with you.
Hey, this is fun. Thank you, pal. Appreciate you. As always, want to thank our producer, James Childs, our associate producer, Kelly Daniel. But most importantly, we want to thank you, America. Thank you for listening. This is The Ramsey Show.
It's Kelly, associate producer for The Ramsey Show. This episode is over, but if you heard about an event, product, or service and didn't have a chance to write it down, don't worry. We list everything you've heard about during this episode in the podcast show notes section, or head over to DaveRamsey.com and click Dave Recommends. Thanks for listening.